So far, the church fathers we've looked at generally agree on several things. The eternal 1,000 years in Jerusalem preceded the general resurrection and the end of the world. While Justin Martyr didn't specifically mention 6,000 years, he alluded to the fact that even though Adam lived to be 930 years old, he died in the same day he sinned, because a day is like 1,000 years to the Lord, and he also asserted that it was connected to the millennium along with chapter 65 of Isaiah and Ezekiel's temple. Irenaeus also mentions Adam's death in the day he sinned in Book 5 of Against Heresies. When Jesus taught, he often referred to Scripture. We see where the church fathers could find the 1,000 years and the warning to Adam in Scripture. But were they referring to other Scriptures as well as the Old Testament? The early Christians didn't limit themselves to our present canon of Scripture, and in fact, the New Testament itself sometimes alludes to Scripture outside the Old Testament. The Book of Jubilees was well known to early Christian writers, and many fragments were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. It is still part of the Ethiopian canon of Scripture. Here's what Jubilees says about the death of Adam several hundred years before the Church Fathers wrote. And at the close of the 19th Jubilee, in the 7th week, in the 6th year thereof, Adam died, and all his sons buried him in the land of his creation, and he was the first to be buried in the earth. And he lacked 70 years of 1,000 years, for 1,000 years are as one day in the testimony of the heavens, and therefore was it written concerning the tree of knowledge, on the day that ye eat thereof ye will die. For this reason he did not complete the years of this day, for he died during it. So here we have the 1,000 years that the church fathers wrote about and written centuries before Christianity. They are also given good reason to associate it with the history of the earth. And the angel of the presence who went before the camp of Israel took the tables of the divisions of the years from the time of the creation of the law and of the testimony of the weeks of the Jubilees, according to the individual years, to all the number of the Jubilees, according to the individual years, from the day of the new creation, when the heavens and the earth shall be renewed, and all their creation according to the powers of the heaven, and according to all the creation of the earth, until the sanctuary of the Lord shall be made in Jerusalem, on Mount Zion, and all the luminaries be renewed for healing, and for peace, and for blessing for all the elect of Israel, and that thus it may be from that day and unto all the days of the earth. The time in the heavenly tables covers from the creation of the law and the testimony, and the new creation until the sanctuary shall be built on Mount Zion, until all the days of the earth. That should cover the entire history of the earth, and it was written in the tables of heaven that the angel presented to Moses on the mountain. There are other similarities to the Messianic reign in Revelation found in Jubilees chapter 23 and in another pre-Christian book that was popular with both Jews and Christians, First Enoch. The prophecy of weeks found in chapter 91 is similar to Revelation chapters 20 and 21. At this point, everything in CHILIASM seems to fit, but today there isn't a lot of agreement about the meaning of the book of Revelation or biblical eschatology. Next time, we'll look at the CHILIASM of the Latin father Tertullian and see if we can find where things begin to go wrong.